What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and in today's video I want to talk to you about a list of changes that I personally want to see in Tekken 8. Now bear in mind that these are just things that I would personally want to see, and honestly, depending on how much time passes and the more time we spend with the game, I could change my opinion on wanting to see some of these things, but feel free to let me know your thoughts not only on my own list, but your own list in the comments down below. Now this is going to be a little bit different from the video I recently made that was titled something along the lines of everything wrong with Tekken 8, because in that one I was mostly just pointing out things that are more so like bugs or glitches more than anything else. And in this video, some of these things are going to be like balance changes, some of these things are going to be like quality of life things, and we might touch on a couple of bugs or whatever. But yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Now these aren't listed in any particular order, but the first thing on my list, this isn't necessarily the most important one to me, but the first one that I have written down is actually that I think while running moves need to be nerfed. Either one of two things needs to happen. Either the execution needs to be more difficult, or then moves need to be toned down. I think more so than anything, you probably got to lean toward the moves need to be toned down, because it's very obvious that the MO for most modern fighting games, and this includes Tekken 8, is lower barrier of entry, high skill ceiling, but you make things more accessible and easier to perform. That's why you have things like heat smashes and heat bursts and things like that. That's why the game is focusing more on offense than it is on defense. That's why combos and execution and everything like that is getting easier and easier in fighting games. That's fine. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, games need to be hard. However, I'm not a huge fan at times of huge reward for low execution, low risk. And while running moves have always been a thing in Tekken, and we've always had very powerful while running moves, but I think the accessibility to moves of this power, and some of these moves being more powerful than ever before, looking at you, Azucena, while running 3-2, even though I play and enjoy that character, that move is a little bit too much. Between the hitbox, the damage, the tracking, the plus frames, things like that need to have some sort of execution barrier, in my opinion, in order to balance it out. But if you're going to have these moves be easily accessible, they can't be as strong as they are. Victor while running 2, Dragunov while running 2, Azucena while running 3-2 being the most problematic of them all right now, in my opinion. Something's got to give. You may disagree with that, you may agree with that. If the moves are going to be as strong as they are, then they need to be harder to do, and if they're going to be as easy as they do, then they need to be weaker than they are. That's just my opinion on that. Next, I feel like personally, I don't think most people are gonna agree with me on this one, but I think all low heat smashes need to be launch punishable. That's just me. And while we're on the topic of that, rage arts all need to be more than -15 on block across the board. Okay, I know we're focusing on a lot of things that I feel like need to be nerfed right now, but these are just the ones that were written down on my list first. Like I said, it's not really in any particular order. We're gonna get to some other things as well. But like, if I block a low heat smash, it should be -15 minimum, okay? And rage arts should be even worse. I'm sorry I bumped my mic. I'm getting real passionate, getting real emotional. I don't understand the philosophy behind rage arts only being -15. I really don't, especially because, like, sure, a lot of characters, most characters I would even say, can launch that, but then you have characters like Steve who can't, right? And I don't get it. I don't get why that is. They should be more like, you doing a raw super on block, you should die for it. It shouldn't be. Every character in the game should be able to launch whatever the slowest, not the slowest launcher, but whatever like Steve's like slowest launchers. Like every character in the game should be able to launch you for getting your rage art block. It's got to be what were rage arts in Tekken 7? It was like -20 or something. Don't quote me on the number. I don't remember. It needs to be nerfed some more. I don't agree with it. I don't understand it. Maybe somebody in the comments can make it make sense to me. Rage arts should be more unsafe on block. It just is what it is. Next, this one's a quality of life thing for me personally. I don't understand why you would design a ranked system where you benefit the most and stand to gain the most from fighting players who are the same rank as you or +/-1, and then not put an option in the game for me to queue up with only +or 1 minus my rank being within the set parameters. Somebody make that make sense to me, because it doesn't. I don't understand. When I'm playing ranked, I only want to fight people who are the same rank as me, or 1 rank lower or 1 rank higher, because anything else just feels like a waste of time. If I fight somebody who's 2 ranks lower than me, I get 250 points. I'm Kishin rank. That doesn't do anything for me. If I'm fighting somebody that's 2 ranks higher, I'm working harder to beat a better player and still not benefiting from it as much as I would if somebody was the same rank as me. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. It makes the rank grind less fun, in my opinion. And I understand that for some people, that maybe they set it that way so that way you have a larger pool of players to choose from. But I live in America, the East Coast of America, okay? There are plenty of players online. I'm not struggling to find matches. That's why you add it as an option. It doesn't have to be forced to be that way, but if I so choose to limit the pool of players to cater to my personal experience, I should be allowed to do so. I don't understand why you wouldn't make that as an option. I truly do not. I can't comprehend that, but please add +/-1 to the search options when I'm doing up for rank, and also add the +- feature to quick match. Like, why as a Kishin rank player am I fighting everything from God of Destruction all the way down to like green ranks? I got put up against a green rank player recently while I was on stream. It doesn't make sense. The range should not fluctuate that much, especially because I don't know about you guys, but when I go into casual matches or quick match, it's to get some practice in, okay? I'm either trying to implement something new or adjust to a new combo, refine my execution, or maybe I'm just warming up before I go into rank to maybe enter an online tournament, whatever. I haven't done that yet in Tekken 8, but I probably will. But it's just also what I do in other fighting games, okay? I do not benefit at all from getting curb stomped by somebody 7 ranks higher than me or curb stomping somebody 12 ranks lower than me. Add the plus minus Q rank feature to quick match, and while you're at it, quick match needs to be infinite. I need to be able to infinitely rematch my opponent until they stop hitting rematch. Again, doesn't make sense to me. The most useful feature, the most fun part for me, and for a lot of you guys, I'm sure as well, about quick match is being able to rematch against an opponent who's of similar skill level, or at the very least is playing a character in a unique way, or is a character that you don't see very often, and helping you learn that matchup. I can't get experience against certain characters because they're very rare, and it's like in ranked, it's first to 2, boom, I get blown up by a string I never saw, and then it's over. It's either go and actually learn the entire character yourself, which is kind of unrealistic, and to some degree I'm trying to do that, but I'm only human. I can only play so many characters. I got like 4 up my sleeve. I'm working on my 5th, but it's like I'm not JDCR, okay? I'm not Knee, I'm not Arslan Ash. I'm not gonna learn how to play every single character in the roster, especially not in the span of a couple of months. But what I can do is get a lot of experience fighting that character by somebody else who plays them and learn how to deal with certain strings. Oh, that's a 1+2 throw. I hadn't seen that before. Oh, there's a high at the end of that. I know how to duck that now because I've seen it a few times. But I'm tired of getting blown up, whether it be in rank match or quick match, in a first to 2, and I don't even know what I died to because the match is over already, and I can't run it back. I can't get the experience. Now, quickly, let me chime in here while I'm editing this video, because I thought about this, and obviously some of you guys are going to say, oh, but what about the replay system? You got to watch your replays. And of course, the replay system in this game is incredible. I think it's one of the most groundbreaking features I've ever seen in a fighting game. I find it very useful, incredibly helpful. However, I don't think it's a substitute for getting real-time experience against fighting some of those characters, because as good as the replay system is, as much as you can go into training mode and lab certain things and certain strings or throws or whatever the case is, you know, practice your defense, I don't think any of those are substitutes to actually fighting against an opponent in real time and dealing with those tools and how they mix things up and how they implement those on the fly in a match. I think you need all of those things together, but right now in Tekken 8, it feels like it's really hard to do that because quick match is still first to 2 and it just doesn't feel like that's, you know, any good for proper experience or like, you know, practice in this game. First to 2 just doesn't cut it, and it's like, okay, unless you got a homie or a friend or know somebody who plays that character, you're not going to be able to sit down and get a long set against them. And it just, yeah, it just kind of sucks. So like, that's honestly one of the things I want the most off this list is for quick match to be infinite in terms of rematches, because I just feel like I can't get the practice I'm looking for like I normally do in fighting games without it. Now, of course, you know, this depends on players actually hitting the rematch function, but let's be realistic, let's be honest, we've all played quick matches, casual matches, whatever, and plenty of other fighting games where they have it set to you can infinitely rematch. And yeah, some people, they leave after 2 games, some people might leave after 1, but there are plenty of people who stay there until they get tired. You know what I'm saying? You might get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus games with one opponent. Especially in Tekken of all games, well, which granted the rage quitting and the one and done and the plugging is very prominent in this game, but deathmatch culture used to be a thing. You can't do that in ranked anymore. I should at very least be able to do that in quick match. I need the experience. I need it, and it's just like I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And a lot of things that are on my list, like I just don't understand why it was designed the way that it was. And don't get me wrong, this might sound like a video where I'm hating heavily on Tekken 8. I love this game. It is very fun. I think it's the best fighting game out. I'm having an amazing time. But there's just some things where I'm just like, I don't understand why it was designed this way. And if it was designed my way, I'd love it even more if that's even possible. But don't get it twisted. I love the game. I know I'm like real passionate, real emotional. I'm getting real hyped up and talking a million miles a minute, but relax. Game is fire, but it could be better. Also, while we're at it, I know I touched on this in the Everything Wrong with Tekken 8 video, but me bringing up ranked also made me remember the disconnects, the crashing, whatever you want to call it. I've had way too many occasions where I'm playing a ranked set, and after the first game, my game disconnects from online. I'm sure you guys have experienced this as well, where you get kicked back to the main menu and like a lot of the game modes are grayed out and you have to reconnect to online. That happens to me a lot. And it happens to me a lot more often in ranked than any other game mode. I don't know if that's coincidence or if it's correlated or whatever the case is, but I cannot stand when after the first game, whether I win or lose, I get disconnected, because I know that on the other end, my opponent just thinks I won and done. And I don't like that, because I'm not the type of person who really be doing that type of thing very often. You know what I'm saying? Very rare cases where I'm leading somebody, mostly only if their connection is really, really bad, but that's just me. That being said, once y'all get on that, once you're able to fix that, I know this was supposed to be a list. I'm kind of just like ranting and rambling at this point, but whatever. Everything's just flowing into each other because point is, going back to what I was about to get into, let's talk about throws. Throws need to be turned down, okay? I don't know why they decided that counter hit throw needs to be a thing. Throws are tracking, they're homing, Let me ask y'all something real quick. What is the difference between a command throw and a regular throw in Tekken 8 right now? Any guesses? No? You know why you don't have an answer for that? Because there isn't one. There's no difference. Outside, of course, obviously the ability to like break them using different buttons. It's like, oh, this one might be a 1+2 or whatever. This is a 2 throw. But other than that, what the fuck is the difference now between throws? Why am I doing a sidestep or like an evasive maneuver that puts me damn near behind my opponent to where their back is toward me and the throw is reaching me? I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. The tracking on the throws is too OD. And also something I recently learned is that like, and I have to do some more testing and experimenting with this because I've only seen it done like with my character. I haven't, it's something I noticed in match and I haven't gone to training mode, but it happened a couple of times. And from my understanding, like if I do a power crush and that gets blocked, the throw is unbreakable. Like, or if a power crush whiffs, the throw is unbreakable. Unbreakable throws, like, okay, you get your rage art blocked, that throws unbreakable, that's a guaranteed punish. I can live with that. You throw somebody out of the power crush, the throw is unbreakable. I can live with that. Getting the power crush stepped or blocked and it's unbreakable, like unless you're dead, like throwing me while I'm still active in the power crush, I don't understand why that's a guaranteed unbreakable throw. The whole concept of unbreakable throws is frankly something you could throw out altogether, and I probably think the game would be better off for it, but that's just me. But it's like some situations I can understand. That's just not one of them though. Throws are just a touch too good in the game, especially because like, and I guess this one I do understand to some degree why. It's because new players and beginner players and like scrubby players, they just mash throws a lot. They throw on wake up, they throw neutral, they throw on negative frames, and like they make throws good so that when they do throws, it works and it helps them win more and whatever. And like I kind of understand that, but just don't agree with it. That's just me. That's just me. And the biggest thing is the tracking. I just feel like the tracking on throws is a little bit out of control. The tracking on a lot of things is a little bit out of control. Bro, I was behind King yesterday and his heat smash hit me. Like I just... Unbreakable throws are lame and nerf the tracking. On the subject of throws, by the way, there's another situation where a throw is supposed to be guaranteed or unbreakable. Did you know that you're supposed to be able to throw somebody out of their heat burst? Yeah, throws beat heat burst because heat burst is a power crush and the same rules apply. It loses to lows and throws, except that almost never happens. And part of the reason I think for that is the fact that you have like those freeze frames when the heat burst happens, because there's just been so many times where like I or my opponent does a throw and like the heat burst beats it, or I do a low and get hit out of the low. Now I will say that the lows do win more often than I see more often than I see the throws do. But like it just, if that's supposed to be the counterplay, let's remove the freeze frame. I feel like that's the reason why. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else. Either way, the freeze frame could go. And maybe heat burst needs to go altogether. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think heat burst could just be removed from the game altogether? 'Cause, like, do we really need another armor reversal? Like we already have rage arts, which are a reversal. You have power crush, right? And then adding heat burst, you know, I saw somebody left me a comment. Was that in chat or was that, no, I was streaming last night and somebody left me, somebody came in the chat and asked me, they said, do you think that they should remove power crushes from the game because you already have heat burst and rage arts and it just feels like 3 armored reversals is a bit too much? And I was like, no, because I think power crush is a very necessary tool in this game, especially depending on the character that you play. With the game being so offense oriented and attacking being so strong in the game, you need the ability to fight back or armor through things so that you're just not constantly getting overwhelmed and just bullied, especially if you play a character like Hwadong, for example, who doesn't really have good get off me tools, and so his power crush is his best thing to fight back. And I understand y'all hate Hwadong, whatever. I could have taken of a different character, but I play that character, so he's the first one that came to mind. But he doesn't really have good get off me tools, right? He doesn't really have the ability to fight back. So he's really good at overwhelming you with his own offense, but when he gets a taste of his own medicine, he struggles a lot to deal with that, right? So power crush is kind of like his only answer. He also has a punch parry, but you know what I mean? But power crush is a tool that a lot of characters are relying on and that a lot of players are relying on. And I promise you, especially as a newer like player or like learning or beginner player, without power crush, y'all would not have as much fun on this game as you do. Because without the ability to like get off me real quick, y'all, no. If you're gonna remove any of the 3, to me, it's got to be heat burst before power crush. I think power crush is a necessary tool in this game, but that's just my opinion. Y'all can feel free to let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. But yeah, originally my idea was just like remove like the freeze frame thing from heat burst, but honestly, you can remove heat burst altogether. And obviously I know like you're not gonna do that, right? I feel like that's a drastic change to the mechanics of the game, and it's like we're already this far in, like people are using that for combos or, you know, as a reversal, whatever. It's just, yeah, they're not gonna go that far, but honestly, I don't hate the idea as I sit here and think about it. Now I'm trying to be convinced why that's a bad idea, but for the moment, it is what it is. Anyway, last thing on the list, I need the ability to create a custom lobby where I can choose whether I want the player 1, the player 2, or whoever wins the match to stay at the top, okay? When I used to do viewer battles in Dragon Ball FighterZ, I would create a ring match. When you're setting up that ring match, you can set it so that player 1, which would normally be myself, stays on whether they win or lose, okay? I understand that this is a feature that, you know, applies to me more specifically and personally, especially as a streamer / content creator, but this could apply, and I'm sure there are other people who use this as well, whether it's like this specific person is trying to get games in and experience against this group of players, or you're just, whatever the case, you're running some sort of gauntlet, whatever the case is, right? That should be an option, okay? And it makes my life a lot easier as somebody who wants to do viewer battles with people, and like it's just a huge pain to do it right now because there's no real good way to do it, because like I either create a lobby and I constantly am switching rooms or like telling people that they have to leave after, you know what I'm saying? Or I go to the arcade, I go to the fight lounge and I have people line up, but then you have people who are like cutting in front of the line. It's like, how do you properly like manage and maintain that or whatever? So it's like, I need the ability to like set the room to have player 1 stays on whether they win or lose, or player 2 stays on whether they win or lose, or it's just winner stays on, loser stays on, whatever the case is. There needs to be more options for setting up these rooms. And again, there also needs to be a feature to where I can search for players, even if they're not on my friends list. But if you're gonna make it mandatory for them to be on a friends list, there also needs to be an option where I should be able to toggle whether or not other players in the room can invite other people. And also you need to make it so that there's a search feature in the game so I can add people, as opposed to having to go to the Tekken fight lounge to add somebody, or having randomly come across them online and then add them for my recently played list. You're making it real difficult. Like the lobby system is fine if you have these other features, but like you're missing features and it's making things more difficult and like just more complicated than it needs to be. Like at least they're functional for the most part. I've been having some crashing issues lately. I don't know about you guys. Get on that. Since that last patch, I feel like lobbies have been breaking a lot more, but I think for the most part the launch of this game has been pretty good. Obviously, like I said, things aren't set in stone. The game isn't perfected. We're basically playing the arcade version of the game. I've said that before and I'll say it again. It's fine. So I'm giving them somewhat the benefit of the doubt because I'm living with that, but I need to keep seeing improvements. I need to keep seeing changes because I love this game. I want to see it last for a very long time. I want to see it continue to increase in popularity. I want it to be one of the biggest games at every event for the next several years. I want to continue to learn, grow, improve, compete, and create content and have fun with all my homies and all the viewers and everything like that. So we need this game to be the best version of itself. And in order to do that, I need to see some of these changes. Obviously, some of these, right, like the nerfs and stuff that I mentioned, and then take those with a grain of salt. That's, you know, that's up for interpretation. That's subjective. But some of these other ones, like the quality of life stuff, like the +/- Q in ranked, or the lobby stuff, like I feel like that's a must. Like I feel like that's objective. Like, yeah, no, that needs to be a thing. But that's my list. Y'all let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for all the awesome content I'm bringing you. With all that being said, that's pretty much off today. Remember, nothing could happen until you swing the bat. Later.